What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Big T, right here with all of you guys today. And this is your AEW Dynamite review and results show for today, Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. Don Callis betrays Kenny Omega and the Elite by joining the Blackpool Combat Club. Told you guys a couple months ago I had a feeling that this was going to happen. So what I want you guys to do right now is kick back, relax. We'll talk about this and everything else that happened on this great episode of AEW Dynamite tonight. So kick back, relax. We're going to hit the music. We're going to get this party started and hit the introductions. And your AEW Dynamite review and results show will be coming your way next. Don't go away because I will be right back.
This is M-Dog20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you were checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T. Thank you, man. Big T.
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joey Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring, BCC.
Alright, how's everybody doing here tonight? Hope everybody's doing good out there. I'm ready to talk about some great AEW Dynamite tonight. Yeah. Alright, folks, well, For starters, I do have the Fiji water here tonight. Fiji water untouched, there's your facts. Okay. So, oh, wait, that's switch on me, there we go. Fiji water untouched. Fiji water comes from a sustainable ancient aquifer deep within the earth on the islands of Fiji. Bottled at the source, natural pressure forces the water towards the sealed delivery system, directly into the bottle, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap, because it is Earth's finest water, just like AEW is the Earth's finest professional wrestling company. So, let's get this opened up. And it's hot as fuck over here tonight, folks. It's hot as fuck. At least I know I am. Alright. Cheers. That's such good shit. Pow. Alright. So to start everything off here, if you guys want to, make sure you check it, use that hashtag Justice for Pretty for pet rights, because pets are family. Me and Mama T, Little Pretty, we all appreciate it very much. And Pretty, you will always be our bright little shining star. We love you very much, forever and ever, my sweet little angel. And after you go ahead and do this, don't forget that you can also donate to the show on PayPal by clicking on this link in the description of this video. Thank you all very much. The link you see Becky Lynch pointing up at right there, that's the link you want. That link's pinned to the top of the YouTube live chat, the Facebook live comments, all that stuff, any amount. Oh, and there's the links at the top of the description of this video and every single video that I do. And any amount you want to donate to the show, big or small, would be very much appreciated. Really helps the show out, so thank you guys very much for that. Alright. Don't forget, you can check out my website, www.beyondtheringwithbigt.com. If you got any questions or comments, you can call into the show live on Skype using BigT_119. You can follow me on Twitter, BeyondTheRingBT, like me and follow me on Facebook at Beyond the Ring with Big T. Follow me on Instagram at Beyond the Ring with Big T. So, anything you guys need is all right there. Alright, so let's take a look. Before we get into the show itself, there's plenty of news that was going around regarding AEW today. So we might as well go through and talk about it. Alright, let's see. AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery is reportedly set to announce a new exclusive TV deal. AEW is currently on track to have record-breaking attendance for All In at Wembley Stadium, or in Wembley Stadium, in August, and a new report suggests that the hits will keep on coming, according to the Wrestling Observer. AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery are set to announce a new TV rights deal as part of Warner Brothers Discovery's upfront presentations next week. AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery will reportedly announce the new deal, which is said to include an announcement about the forthcoming AEW Collision program on May 17th in the theater at Madison Square Garden, a part of the world-famous arena that was home base for AEW's competitor, the WWE, as far back as its days as the New York Wrestling Territory. There's no word on whether the new deal will include an increase in TV rights fees. The news of the possible new TV deal, coming at the same time as the historic ticket sales in Wembley, has made for a great month for AEW, with no word on how All In is set to be broadcast. Many look to the upcoming Warner Brothers Discovery upfronts to possibly give a clue as to whether the show will be a traditional pay-per-view, a televised special, or even possibly streamed on the Max platform that is set to replace HBO Max. AEW has also been considering their own streaming service. This announcement, likely being made in Madison Square Garden, is a major shot across the bow in the current tribal war between AEW and WWE fans, as Madison Square Garden is still seen as WWE's home, despite WWE making the less expensive Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, the new base for their New York City events over the last decade. Now, honestly, I would like AEW to move their whole library over to the Max streaming platform rather than get their own, and I'll tell you why. Because if they were to go on HBO Max, well, it's going to be called Max on May 23rd. If they were to go to HBO Max, we'll just call it right now, you get everything. You'll get all the movies that are a part of that platform. You'll get AEW. If AEW gets their own streaming service, then you'll just have AEW. That's why I like WWE on Peacock, because you get all the movies, you get all the TV shows. Same thing with HBO Max, except HBO Max has way better movies and TV shows than Peacock. You know, HBO Max might be considered to some or many as the best streaming platform out there, and you add AEW to that, that's huge. I don't know what they're going to do. We'll see what they're going to do. Now, if they're going to do it to where only the pay-per-views are on it, then I wouldn't even bother getting it at that point, because, you know, you can watch the pay-per-views any way you can. So, I wouldn't bother with it. But if they're going to put the whole library on it, all the Dynamite episodes, all the Rampage episodes, stream all the pay-per-views on it, included with the whole library, then I would get it on launch day like I did WWE Network. But if it's just going to be for 4 pay-per-views a year with no library, no nothing, then I wouldn't even bother. But if you're getting the whole library with it, then yeah. Because there's so many AEW shows that I can watch back that I haven't had the opportunity to watch back, like I do with WWE, or New Japan, or Impact, or Ring of Honor. All of those platforms that have the new shows and the classic shows, I watch them all. I'll watch new shows when I need to catch up on it, and I'll watch old shows when I want to relive something from the past. In AEW's platform, I want it to be the same. So hopefully something works out, because that's like the leading network that I've been looking forward to for so long, but they had to get their library in order to get more shows under their belt, so we'll see what they got planned. Now, AEW is reportedly planning a marquee match for the Collision debut. Now, featuring CM Punk's return. It hasn't started or even been confirmed yet, but AEW Collision is the talk of the town. Earlier today, reports emerged that Collision was expected to be unveiled next Wednesday at Warner Brothers Discovery's upfronts. And now more information has emerged on Collision's debut and what it may entail. Fightful Select is reporting, as has been rumored, that Collision will begin in mid-June, though an official date or location was not revealed. It was also noted that CM Punk will be part of the debut show and is expected to wrestle in a marquee match. While Chris Jericho has been proposed, Punk has allegedly pushed for another return opponent, though it is unclear who. Just as importantly, it was noted that Collision would lead to a cash infusion for AEW and will be part of an extension between AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery. The exact figures of the extension or the amount of cash AEW will be receiving for Collision is unknown at this time, though it was described as a good deal for AEW as for its taping schedule. Collision appears poised to be broadcast live most Saturday nights, though there may be occasions where AEW tapes the show ahead on Thursday. As previous reports have confirmed, talent such as The Elite and CM Punk will appear on both AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision, and a hard brand split is not expected. Regarding Rampage, the show is expected to become AEW's equivalent to WWE Sunday Night Heat, while indie talent previously brought in for, shoulder content such as AEW Dark or AEW Dark Elevation is expected to be featured now in Ring of Honor. No word was provided on whether Ring of Honor will tape before Dynamite, Collision, or if it will tape separately in Universal Studios. So, I've been watching Tony Khan's Ring of Honor. I saw every episode of it so far because I watch everything. You know, you guys may not know that, but I just don't have time to review it all. I really don't. But I do watch everything. I watch every single New Japan show. I watch every single Impact show. I watch every single Ring of Honor show. I watch it all. I do not miss a single show in professional wrestling all week. I see it all. But I just cannot review it all. Otherwise, I'd be on here every day and I really wouldn't have a life. And sitting about 10 feet to my left, I have my entire life right here, which is Mama T. So if you want, don't think I don't know about what's going on in the world of wrestling, because I watch it all. I have every network, I watch everything. Just like AEW's network, if they get one, like I said, if they have the library, then I'll get it. If they don't and it's just pay-per-views, then yeah, I wouldn't waste my time. But I see everything going on in the world of wrestling. That's why you guys can ask me anything about Impact, anything about New Japan. I'll never look at it and be like, oh, I don't know, because trust me, I know. I know Trinity Fatu, known as Naomi. I know she's wrestling in Impact. I've seen her matches. I know everything that's going on here. Trust me, guys. Trust me. But, yeah, this is awesome. Alright. Let's take a look. Because I had something else. I laughed at this, actually. And not because I thought it was funny. I laughed at it because, man, some wrestling fans, they deserve exactly what they get. AEW Saraya goes off on scummy autograph sellers by saying, "Do not disrespect me." Over the past few months, there has been renewed talk about fans seeking autographs from wrestlers in public places, and how far things can go before it becomes intrusive. The issue was big enough that a report emerged in March that WWE stars were cutting back on autographs after a video emerged of Rey Mysterio being swarmed by fans at an airport. Now it appears a similar situation has occurred with AEW star Saraya prior to tonight's AEW Dynamite. Taking to Twitter, Saraya vented about a rather unpleasant fan interaction earlier in the day. Saraya tweeted, and I quote, this is all from her: "If you come to my hotel and wait outside of it for me to sign shit," Saraya wrote, "I sign stuff even though I know you sell it. I'm nice to you and then say I'll be back down after Glam to take pics. For me to walk inside and for you to then make fun of my tapes to the Uber driver that asked what I did and not realize my makeup guy is right there, I will fucking lose it on you, like I just did. Do not disrespect me or any wrestler ever. I will not sign shit for you for free ever again. Ever. Don't even ask. I'm done with the scummy auto sellers." Saraya and Rey Mysterio are not the only wrestlers to have to deal with unruly fans over the past few months. Only days after Rey Mysterio's episode in March, Rhea Ripley detailed how an interaction with one obnoxious fan led to Rhea Ripley stating that she would only sign items going forward that were of a personal nature and not items that could be sold later over the internet. See, wrestling fans like that give wrestling fans like myself a bad name. Because, believe me, I've seen it. You know, there are wrestling fans out there that, man, they are scummy motherfuckers. They really are. Sadly, that's what a lot of wrestling fans are, but then there are good ones out there. Like ones that are here watching the show, and ones like myself. But yeah, other ones out there, man, there are really, really fucking scummy pieces of shit wrestling fans. There really are. So I don't blame Saraya for feeling the way that she feels here. I don't. Not at all. Anyway, now we can get into Dynamite itself. Let's take a look. Alright, AEW Dynamite review and results for Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. John Moxley faces Kenny Omega inside of a steel cage, and we got 2 title matches as well. Tonight will be headlined by a steel cage match for AEW Dynamite from Wednesday, May 10, 2023. Tonight will be headlined by a steel cage match as Kenny Omega and John Moxley are set to do battle once again. These two men have a long-standing history against each other, but they have been a part of wider issues lately between the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club, with those problems reaching a boiling point on this show. Elsewhere, AEW World Trios Championships will be on the line in an open house match as the House of Black will put their titles on the line against the team of the best friends, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, and Bandito. Meanwhile, the other member of that stable, Orange Cassidy, will be defending his AEW All-Atlantic Championship on the show, as Orange Cassidy will be defending his AEW International Championship against Daniel Garcia in an International Championship match. There will also be a no-holds-barred match for the women's division as Anna J.A.S. and Julia Hart look to finally settle their issues against each other. Claudio Castagnoli will be competing against Rey Fenix in a double Jeopardy match. If Claudio wins, he will challenge for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships alongside any partner of his choice, but if Rey Fenix wins, then he will be able to compete against Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Finally, fans can expect to hear from both Christian Cage and FTR. Christian is expected to address Wardlow after he made it clear that he wants the AEW TNT Championship, while FTR will be responding to the challenge given to them by Double J, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal. So let's start off here. Claudio Castagnoli takes on Rey Fenix in a double Jeopardy match. You know, Claudio Castagnoli is the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. Rey Fenix is one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions. But, you know, no titles are on the line here in this double Jeopardy match. Rey Fenix showcases his agility and pace early on, but the power of Claudio Castagnoli gives him the advantage as he drops Fenix down onto his knees several times. Fenix responds with a few sharp super kicks and then a diving Hurricane Rana, which sends Claudio out of the ring. Rey Fenix keeps up his momentum with consecutive suicide dives, but the third attempt leads to him being caught and thrown into the barricade. So, Claudio tries to lift Fenix above his head and carry him back into the ring, but Fenix catches Claudio with a knee strike and then runs off the barricade to connect with the Hurricane Rana. Fenix keeps up the attack with a strike to the head of Claudio, but he responds by planting Fenix down on the mat, Claudio does, as Claudio then tries to power Fenix up over his shoulders on the second rope, but it doesn't work, and Fenix then hits another Hurricane Rana off the second rope, but Claudio kicks out. Claudio takes the fight out of the ring and simply tosses Fenix over the barricade and out to the floor. Fenix gets back into the ring and unloads with a flurry of chops, but that is met with a huge lariat which turns Fenix inside out. That is followed up by a gut wrench from the second turnbuckle. And again, Fenix fights back with some chops, as Fenix then drops Claudio with a thrust kick before rolling into a cutter as Fenix follows it up with a moonsault to the outside, dropping Claudio once again. Fenix then nails the code red and almost gets the win, but Claudio kicks out just in time. Both men then exchange strikes, but as Claudio misses with a wild clothesline, he bounces back into a super kick as Claudio manages to connect with his hammer and anvil elbows, and that is followed by the Ricola bomb for the 1-2-3 and the pin and the win. Your winner is Claudio Castagnoli. So, Claudio Castagnoli is your winner. And, let's see. It was a good match. It was a good match between these two. I gotta say, there was nothing wrong with it. You know, they did what they had to do. It was decent. So, we got what we got. After this match, FTR addresses their AEW World Tag Team title challengers. So now, what do we get from FTR? Well, first off, we actually had a surprise before this. So let's talk about this little surprise that we ended up getting. Alright. Miro makes a surprise return to AEW television on AEW Dynamite tonight. Bulgarians are breaking out of, they're breaking out to celebrate here as Bulgarians' prodigal son has returned to AEW programming, or Bulgaria's, I should say Bulgaria. Miro returned on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday following Claudio Castagnoli's victory over Rey Fenix. Miro was seen walking the halls of the arena in casual clothes. AEW backstage interviewer Renee Paquette asked Miro why he was back in AEW, but Miro refused to respond, instead silently walking into what was clearly marked as the office of AEW President Tony Khan. There is currently no word on what request Miro made from Tony Khan, and later in the night, Absent AEW star Thunder Rosa also made an appearance heading up into Tony Khan's office in what is quickly becoming a night of returns. Miro has not appeared on AEW programming since All Out of 2022, so it's been September 2022, it's been 8 months. It's been 8 months since we've seen Miro, where Miro helped Sting and Darby Allin defeat the House of Black in a trios match. Some of Miro's absence from AEW television can be explained by his recent ventures outside of wrestling, including an acting role on the TV series East New York, which led to Miro living in New York for a number of weeks. Despite his notable absence, Miro signed an extension with AEW last year that will see him work for AEW for another 4 years, suggesting a more than amicable relationship between the two parties. While Miro was busy with the television show and has signed an extension, there were still opportunities between September and now where Miro could have wrestled, but reports suggest that he was simply not pitched any kind of involvement despite being healthy and ready to compete. So we will see what happens now regarding Miro. But it looks like Miro is back. Miro is indeed back. So backstage, Miro is shown returning to AEW. He ignores Renee Paquette and just barges into Tony Khan's office. MJF is then shown in a pre-tape video package, claiming that the pillars of AEW were like the Beatles, claiming that MJF, is Paul McCartney because he's the best and he will have the longevity. As MJF is begging, them to accomplish what he has, meaning Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, begging them to accomplish what MJF has. Next up, FTR, AEW World Tag Team Champions. They hit the ring and say, they owe an apology to someone, so they ask their best friend Mark Briscoe to come out. But instead, they get Double J, Jeff Jarrett, and his entire group. Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal. But Sanjay Dutt says that FTR have one job today, which is to accept their challenge for a match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships at Double or Nothing. Dax Harwood says he will accept it if they admit to using Mark Briscoe to get to them. Sanjay Dutt says they are not using Mark Briscoe as they are friends. So this leads to Mark Briscoe making his way down to the ring, with a bunch of cups and it looked like a bottle of liquor. Mark Briscoe tells all these guys to relax, as it has become apparent to him that they have a hard time controlling their emotions. Mark Briscoe says that he spoke to Tony Khan and he has news at Double or Nothing. The tag team title match is happening, and not only that, but Mark Briscoe will be the special guest referee, as they need to keep the peace somehow. They then pass around some cups and pour in some of that old alcohol. But before anybody does a toast, Sanjay Dutt takes a swig from the liquor bottle and spits it right in the face of Dax Harwood. So at that point, this leads to a scuffle as Mark Briscoe tries to break up the fight between these two teams, but Jeff Jarrett pushes Mark Briscoe right into a blinded Dax Harwood. And when, Dax Harwood felt something bump into him, instinctively, Dax Harwood, because he couldn't see after getting the liquor spit in his face, Harwood, instinctively tried to fight, and he nailed Mark Briscoe with a pile driver without knowing what or who he was doing it to, what he was doing or who he was doing it to, because Dax Harwood couldn't see. So this is going to be, quite interesting, because now Mark Briscoe could say, he can't believe, one of his friends from FTR would do that to him. And, they can make this into an interesting thing. So we'll see where this goes, but pretty damn good stuff. So far, so good on the first 2 matches on the show. Alright. Chris Jericho is then shown with Renee Paquette. Jericho asks why people are so happy. Adam Cole got the best of him with an unprovoked attack, and Adam Cole created an unsafe working environment. Jericho got a court order here that says if Adam Cole's in the or if Jericho's in the building, Adam Cole is banned from the building. So then Adam Cole's friend Roderick Strong and then shows up and says the one thing Adam Cole is not is a coward. Roderick Strong goes, but I'm not banned, so how about I challenge you, Chris, to a Falls Count Anywhere match next week on Dynamite? Jericho tells Roderick Strong that he will knock his teeth down his throat, and next week he will have the match. Roderick Strong then pulls out a piece of paper and goes, oh, by the way, I got legal counsel as well. You're not the only one who got legal counsel. And Roderick Strong says, just so you know, the Jericho Appreciation Society, the rest of the JAS, they are also banned. I guess probably from ringside when they have this match. He serves Jericho the papers. Jericho's like, what is this? Is this real? And Renee Paquette's kind of smiling. She's like, oh yeah, looks kind of legit to me. And that was that. So now Chris Jericho could be royally screwed here, but we'll see. Jericho and Roderick Strong next week. That should be a great match. Next up, former AEW Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa returns to AEW Dynamite. A night of returns appears to be happening on AEW Dynamite, fresh off seeing former AEW TNT Champion Miro enter AEW President Tony Khan's office for a yet-to-be-known reason. Another former champion appeared on Dynamite tonight. Former AEW Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa appeared backstage, much in the same vein as Miro. AEW broadcaster Renee Paquette was there in front of Tony Khan's office, still buzzing from Miro's return when Thunder Rosa entered the frame. Thunder Rosa then said to Renee Paquette, and I quote, "It seems tonight it's a good night to talk to Papi Khan." Thunder Rosa said that, and then end quote right there. But that's what Thunder Rosa said before entering Tony Khan's office. There's no word on what Thunder Rosa's reasoning for visiting Tony Khan could be. Rosa has not wrestled on AEW programming since August of last year. She suffered an injury that led to her vacating the AEW Women's World Championship in November. Rosa recently commented on the long recovery from her injury, making it sound like she might require surgery. Despite the return to AEW programming days later. Now, Rosa's return has been the subject of speculation, as Thunder Rosa was mentioned on episodes of AEW All Access in regard to the rumored animosity between her and other members of the AEW women's locker room. Rosa was even the subject of a backstage meeting on her inclusion in AEW, where Thunder Rosa reportedly mended many fences. Despite her absence from in-ring competition, Rosa recently took part in an AEW television taping in El Paso, Texas, where she provided Spanish commentary for the various AEW shows, as Thunder Rosa has also made appearances as a co-host on Busted Open Radio. So that's what we have on Thunder Rosa, folks. That's what we got. So Thunder Rosa then shows up backstage as she also enters Tony Khan's office. And then there was a big announcement from Tony Khan, the boss man himself. Tony Khan did have something to say. Let's see. Where is that news on Tony Khan? There it is. Tony Khan appears on AEW Dynamite to tease a huge announcement. In the midst of the explosive action on this week's AEW Dynamite, Tony Khan appeared on the show to tease another one of his trademark huge announcements for next week's Dynamite broadcast. Tony Khan says, and I quote, "In the back, there are literally stars lined up looking for chances to wrestle in AEW," Tony Khan says during his promo. "I think it is clearer than ever that AEW can produce even more great content every week. Rumors have been circulating for some time about the future of All Elite Wrestling. There's been talk about a third AEW television show potentially titled AEW Collision. The possible return of CM Punk following the events of last year's All Out, and the inclusion of AEW's programming on HBO Max, soon to be rebranded as simply Max. Plus, it has been reported that the announcement of an all-new TV deal for AEW could be part of the Warner Brothers Discovery upfront presentation next week at Madison Square Garden, which has traditionally been a stranglehold or a stronghold for Vince McMahon's WWE in the world of professional wrestling. Ultimately, Tony Khan's revelation could be any number of things, though his words do seem to hint at a new show on the horizon. Tony Khan mentioned some key details in the first segment. First, he says that the announcement will be on TNT next week, rather than the regular home for Dynamite on TBS. Words that he chose carefully and apparently very much on purpose. Then he referenced a follow to one of the most important announcements ever in the history of AEW. We'll find out what he means next Wednesday night. So, yeah, exciting shit, guys. Really, really exciting shit, from Tony Khan. Can't wait. It's an exciting, exciting time. As far as AEW Saturday show, it is announcement. It's expected for upfront presentations. For a show that doesn't even truly exist yet, there's been a lot of conversation surrounding the circumstances of AEW's proposed third show, AEW Collision, hitting the airways. It looks like we will only have to wait another week to get some more concrete details about this AEW program reportedly being lined up for Saturday nights. According to PW Insider, the official announcement regarding AEW Collision is expected to come next Wednesday during the Warner Brothers Discovery upfront presentation at Madison Square Garden's Hulu Theater in New York City. We will likely get a clear picture on the start date of Collision, while AEW has announced only one Saturday TV taping to date, a July 8th, 2023 event in Regina, Saskatchewan. It has been heavily rumored that the first Collision would take place in Chicago's United Center on June 17th. That show is expected to feature the return of CM Punk after his lengthy absence from AEW following last year's All-Out situation. Furthermore, we may learn if an AEW brand split will actually take effect to populate the new show, while some have suggested that Collision could lead to a hard roster split between it and Dynamite, perhaps to keep Punk and the members of the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, apart. Other reports indicate that talent will be able to move freely among shows, not necessarily restricting anyone to one particular night of the week. For AEW involvement with Collision, but with Collision on the horizon, Warner Brothers Discovery should have answers on tap to satisfy such questions. So we will see what happens with all this. But yeah, pretty cool shit. Definitely pretty cool shit. Alright, guys. So, let's continue on with what we got next on AEW Dynamite. Tony Khan is then shown, and he reveals there are stars lined up looking for chances to wrestle, and it is clear that there are more opportunities for them to deliver, so stay tuned next week. That's where Collision will come in, where the extra opportunities will be. Next up, we got a great match here. We got a match for the AEW International Championship. We got the AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy defending his AEW International Championship against Daniel Garcia in an AEW International Championship match. Daniel Garcia takes a few cheap shots at Orange Cassidy and then dances around, but Orange Cassidy then showcases his own style by putting his hands in his pockets to deliver several drop kicks. Garcia quickly regains control, though, by taking the fight outside the ring, absolutely dropping Orange Cassidy on the barricade in the ring apron. Several times to target the back of Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy manages to fight back with some elbow strikes on the top turnbuckle, but Daniel Garcia then chops down the right hand of Orange Cassidy and then connects with the superplex, but he tries to go for another move by hanging on, only for Orange Cassidy to reverse it with a stunner, as Daniel Garcia immediately goes to the knee with a dragon screw, though, and he follows it up with another attack to the kneecap. Daniel Garcia stuffs Orange Cassidy's hands into his own pockets, but his pile driver attempt is reversed with a modified beach break as Garcia fires back with a jumping pile driver. But, let's see, the jumping pile driver, yeah. Modified beach break, Garcia fires back with a jumping pile driver. But Orange Cassidy manages to kick out. Orange Cassidy then goes for an inside cradle and almost catches him out of it. But then he hits the beach break again, only to get a near fall. Garcia then sets in the Dragon Tamer, though, locking it in tight. And, he then transitions. He transitions into the crossface as he stomps onto the hand for good measure. But Orange Cassidy gets out of it with a pinfall attempt, and he catches him out to get the 1-2-3 and the pin in the win to retain his AEW International Championship. So your winner and still the AEW International Champion is indeed Orange Cassidy in a great match with Daniel Garcia for sure. So yeah, they kept it going here. What's up, Hunter? Alright. After this great match, we move on to another part in the show for AEW Dynamite. Are you guys ready? Because I'm sure ready to talk about it with you. Okay. Christian Cage speaks. Christian Cage and Luchasaurus head to the ring, and Christian says he's the number one contender for the AEW TNT Championship because he is Christian Cage. That's why. When you have the accomplishments that he is afforded certain opportunities, like telling the boss you want a shot, and you get it. Christian asks why lots of wrestlers in AEW have daddy issues. Much like his previous opponent, Jungle Boy, his current opponent, Wardlow. My buddy Wardlow also had a father, but he will not berate him. Because, let's face it, nobody cares about him as he wasn't famous. Oh my god, so Christian, he just had to go there, didn't he? Christian says that Wardlow found a father figure in Double A Arn Anderson, and it just so happens that he was looking for a new son himself. Christian points out Brock Anderson is under contract, but he thinks, Arn Anderson is a liar, and he said, he wanted to send his son down the path to success until he saw Wardlow with the AEW TNT title. Christian points out that if you're the other guy in a tag team with Tully Blanchard or Ric Flair's lapdog, he guesses that makes you a legend. Meanwhile, he's a multi-time world heavyweight champion. He knows the struggle. So, that's what Christian had to say. We'll see what this does going forward. But we got video packages on MJF, video packages on Jungle Boy, and on Sammy Guevara, and then a video package showing for Darby Allin as he does crazy things as it makes him show he is capable of so much more. He wants to give back to AEW as it gave so much to him, and that's why he wants to be AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Alright, so far good stuff, guys. We're getting there. 3 matches left. What a great show, though, huh? What a great show, eh? I think so. I know so. It's great. And I'm thirsty as fuck, so I'm finishing off the water. Cheers to you. Get booze. Yummy. Alright, women's match. This is actually a really good women's match time. Anna Jay goes one-on-one with Julia Hart in a no-holds-barred match. Julia Hart makes her entrance, but Anna Jay turns up from behind and attacks her with a steel chair as they head into the ring. Julia Hart dumps Anna Jay straight out of the ring and then into the barricade repeatedly as she then busts out a kendo stick and attacks her several times. But as they get back into the ring, Anna Jay pulls it from her and starts attacking Julia Hart with the weapon herself. Anna Jay connects with a snap suplex on the outside, but Julia Hart responds by sending Anna into the ring post repeatedly as Julia drops Anna with a DDT outside the ring, but she kicks out. Anna then responds with a couple of chops, but Julia reverses and delivers a few of her own, but Anna comes out on top of the situation, on top only for Hart to send Anna into the chair, which is set between the turnbuckles. Hart then puts together a collection of chairs outside the ring, but it is she who is planted face first into them. Anna, yet she is still able to kick out of the pinfall. Anna then rams the trash can into Hart and then pulls it over her head as she runs and hits a spinning kick into the corner, yet she kicks out once again. as Hart fights back after Anna brings a pile of chairs into the ring and they brawl to the top turnbuckle as Hart hits a superplex that dumps Anna into some of the chairs, and she locks in Heartless. Her submission hold Heartless for the win. So your winner by submission using Heartless is Julia Hart. What a great no-holds-barred match from these two ladies for sure. Great stuff. Alright, next we got an open house match for the AEW World Trios Championships. We got the AEW World Trios Champions, the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, defending their AEW World Trios Championships against the best friends of Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, and Bandito. Alright, folks. Best friends are shown backstage as Trent Beretta says tonight they win the big one. They reveal the final rule will be that all witches are barred from ringside, so no Julia Hart there. The lights are turned down for this match, making it very House of Black the House of Black, it was a match that looked like the House of Black. Maybe that's why it was an open house match. But, Bandito takes down Malachi Black with Hurricane Rana, only for Malachi to respond with a huge kick that turns Bandito inside out. Bandito tags out as the best friends drop Malachi with a double team and then work with Bandito as the three of them connect with several moves. House of Black then take charge with Chaos at ringside, and Brody King then charges into Trent Beretta with a running crossbody that smashes him into the barricade. Malachi connects with the back elbow to Trent Beretta as Brody King then tags in and starts throwing chops at him. And for good measure, Buddy Matthews tags in, but he gets spiked by Trent Beretta, who then nails a thrust kick, but that's not enough, as he then stomps Matthews down and brings in Bandito, who launches himself off the top rope before attacking Brody King and Malachi Black as well. He then dives out of the ring to wipe them both out for good measure. Bandito lands a kick to Matthews, but as he dives from the top rope, he is caught in midair with an E-strike from Matthews. Chuck Taylor comes in and hits Soul Food, but he is then hit with an E-strike and Dante's Inferno for the 1-2-3 and the pin in the win for the House of Black to retain the Trios Championships. So your winners and still the AEW World Trios Champions, we got the House of Black of Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. Still your AEW World Trios Champions over the best friends Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, and Bandito. And then after this, Orange Cassidy, the AEW International Champion, is shown laid out backstage as Kyle Fletcher from the United Empire stands over him. So it looks like we got another open challenge for the International Championship next week, and it's probably going to be Kyle Fletcher versus Orange Cassidy for the International Championship. So pretty crazy stuff, guys. Pretty crazy stuff so far. Very good show. Very, very good show. Chris Jericho and Roderick Strong to meet in a Falls Count Anywhere match. An old school slugfest is set for next week's AEW Dynamite as veteran wrestlers Chris Jericho and Roderick Strong battle in a Falls Count Anywhere match. The match was set up on this week's Dynamite show, where Jericho called out Adam Cole for ambushing him at the commentary desk on the May 3rd episode of Dynamite, following the Jericho Appreciation Society's loss to Adam Cole and company in an 8-man tag team match. Jericho said in a backstage interview, and I quote, "I was not prepared for a fight." Cole, that's what Jericho said in a backstage interview. Jericho continued on by saying, "You created an unsafe work environment, and you are a coward for doing that." Jericho then revealed that he had received a court order that precludes Adam Cole from ever being in the same building as him going forward, as Jericho continued to diss Adam Cole. Roderick Strong confronted Chris Jericho, and before issuing a challenge for next week. Roderick Strong says right here, and I quote, "As disappointing as it is that Adam Cole is banned from the building, guess who's not?" Roderick Strong asks Chris Jericho, "Guess who's not?" He says, "Me. So how about you face me in a fight? Falls count anywhere." As part of the stipulation for the match, the Jericho Appreciation Society, all of them, every single one of them except for Chris Jericho, will be banned. And Adam Cole as well. He will be banned. All of the JAS will be banned. They'll be banned from the building, and not just from the ringside area. Besides, Chris Jericho versus Roderick Strong, the confirmed lineup for next week's AEW Dynamite includes Absolute Ricky Starks versus Switchblade Jay White in a grudge match. The Outcast, Saraya, Ruby Soho, and Tony Storm are going to take on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida, and a women's trios match, and a follow-up to AEW President Tony Khan's announcement from this week's show. While not confirmed by AEW, a singles match between Chris Jericho and Adam Cole is widely expected to take place at the upcoming Double or Nothing pay-per-view. And then this match will mark Adam Cole's first pay-per-view match since June of 2022, which is when Forbidden Door took place, and that's where Adam Cole really got that serious concussion in that fatal four-way match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, when it was Adam Cole, Hangman Adam Page, Switchblade Jay White, and Kazuchika Okada. So, there you go, folks. A little bit of updated news there. And now, guys, like I said, Orange Cassidy and Kyle Fletcher for the International Championship next week. I won't be surprised. A video package that runs for Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And now we're finally here, guys. We are here. And we are here for something awesome. I was looking forward to this all damn night, let me tell you. How could you not be looking forward to this match? I sure was. I really was. But yeah, MJF's video package I think was the best. When he talked about all the pillars in AEW, I thought that was probably the best package that could have been done. Sammy Guevara's video package was also a pretty good one. Really, everybody had a good video package presentation. They all did, so can't complain. Cannot complain. Alright, so it is now time for the main event of the evening for AEW Dynamite, folks. Are you ready? I am. We got a match here, a steel cage match to be more specific. We got Jon Moxley going one-on-one against Kenny Omega in a steel cage match. And if you remember the first time Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega took place, it was brutal. It was a lights out unsanctioned match at Full Gear 2019. So these guys have not faced each other in 3.5 years. And we've only seen them fight once. This is their first official sanctioned match in AEW, because if you remember, the lights out matches unsanctioned didn't really count even though they wrestled. But now this is the first match ever between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega that is officially sanctioned by AEW, so win, loss in the record books will actually count in this one. But Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega in a steel cage match for the main event of the evening for AEW Dynamite tonight. What a fucking match this was. before things even got underway. Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks head out to even up the odds by attacking the other members of the Blackpool Combat Club, of Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and the American Dragon Bryan Danielson. But the numbers go against them. They turn things around and everyone brawls to the back as Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley then get into the cage together. Because before the match, before the match even got started, all this was happening. So, Omega and Moxley get into the cage. They start brawling immediately. Omega gets the best of the situation and then throws a steel chair wrapped in barbed wire into the face of Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is busted open, which is alright. So, Omega uses the chair again on the back of Moxley and then hits a stomp that rips the flesh of Moxley's back while he's also busted open in the face. Omega starts throwing him head first into the ring post, but Moxley responds by slamming Omega into the camera as he then puts Omega into the steel cage, and then he uses the chair as a weapon himself, only for Omega to respond by hitting a bulldog that sends Jon Moxley into the barbed wire chair. However, Moxley fires back by superplexing Omega into the chair, dishing out some damage of his own. Moxley starts loosening the top turnbuckle as he grabs the hook from the turnbuckle and pulls it into Omega's mouth to fishhook him. Yeah, believe me, I read it right. I read that right. That actually happened. That actually happened where Moxley loosened the top turnbuckle, the whole top rope, and then unhooked it from the ring, so there was no top rope the rest of the match, but unhooked it. And then, he pulled it into Omega's mouth to fishhook him like he was fishing for Kenny Omega, and he just brutalized him with that. Moxley then gets the top rope, he wraps it around Kenny Omega's neck, and he starts choking Kenny Omega out. But Kenny Omega, being in the desperate, dire situation he's in right now, he actually gouges the eyes of Moxley to provide a break, only for Moxley to get back in control with the top rope. This was unbelievable. Then they poured out some broken glass. Moxley then put some broken glass into the ring, dumping it out of a bag like Mick Foley used to do thumbtacks with the black bag. This had black bag, but it was with thumbtacks in it. So Moxley, puts some broken glass into the ring, but Kenny Omega hits a V-trigger knee. But as he tries to hit the one-winged angel, Moxley reverses it into a sleeper, which leads to Omega dropping backward as Moxley lands in the broken glass. However, Moxley pops back up and puts Omega straight back into the submission, but Omega gets out of it and hits another V-trigger with both men back on their feet. They trade slaps until Omega lands several knee strikes and then a Snapdragon suplex. That is followed by another V-trigger, and this one breaks the cage. The cage just completely breaks away, which leads to Jon Moxley spilling out of the cage while Kenny Omega's leg got trapped in the process. And then Moxley throws Kenny Omega back in and then grabs a screwdriver. So, at this point, you're kind of wondering what the fuck had happened, but Don Callis, who's Kenny Omega's manager and mentor and everything else for all these years, he pulls it from Moxley out of his hand. Oh, wait. Yeah, Moxley throws Omega back in, and Moxley grabs a screwdriver. Yeah, Don Callis pulls it away from Jon Moxley, and Omega attacks Jon Moxley from behind before hitting another V-trigger knee, and then the one-winged angel. So, Kenny Omega had the match won. I mean, this was it, because nobody ever kicks out of the One-Winged Angel. So Don Callis did the job. He took the screwdriver away from Moxley. Kenny Omega hit the One-Winged Angel, and that was it. You thought that was going to be it. But as Kenny Omega got Moxley hooked up in the pin, and the referee hits 2, and Kenny Omega is just 1 second away from winning this match, Don Callis, of all people, attacks Kenny Omega with the screwdriver, jabbing him in the head with it, with the screwdriver, to break up the 3 count. To break up the 3 count, guys. And then Moxley gets on top of Kenny Omega. He gets the 1, 2, 3 and the pin and the win. That was it. Your winner's Jon Moxley. Callis did he did the final thing, because Kenny Omega was sitting right there. Had Moxley hooked up. Callis took the screwdriver, boom, jabbed it into Omega's head. And just probably between the shock and Omega just being taken down and basically stabbed in the head or in the back of the head with a screwdriver, that's enough to take anybody down and keep anybody down. Moxley, who was right there next to Omega, just kind of rolled over on top of him. That was it. That was your pin. Your 1, 2, 3 and the pin and the win. And your winner of the steel cage match is Jon Moxley. After the match, Don Callis has the screwdriver in his hand, and he's holding it, and then he grabs Kenny Omega by the hair, and he pulls his head back, and then he's got the screwdriver in this hand, and he's holding the screwdriver up like he's going to stab Kenny Omega again. Don Callis throws the screwdriver away. And he stands there and he gets down in front of Kenny Omega and he whispers something to Kenny Omega that we can't hear. And he grabs Kenny Omega by the head and gives him basically the kiss of death. Almost something like the Mafia does when they give you that final kiss in the head or whatever. But really they're turning on you. That's what Don Callis kind of did to Kenny Omega. Put one hand on each side of his head, leaned in, kissed him on the forehead, and then shoved Kenny Omega back down to the mat. I'm like, holy shit. And Don Callis has officially joined the Blackpool Combat Club after this. And I told you guys that was going to happen. Remember a couple months back? When Jon Moxley attacked Don Callis at first? Back when Don Callis and Adam Hangman Page were already getting into it, I already told you guys back then, I'm like, Don Callis is going to be the one to turn on Kenny Omega and turn on the Elite. Don Callis is going to be the one to do something here. Sure enough, a couple months later, Don Callis did it, and I'm not surprised. I am not surprised at all that Don Callis did what he did. Really, I'm not. And that's how the show went off the air, but I was like, wow, guys, wow. Couldn't believe it. But I guess I should have expected it. Real quickly here, FTR agrees to tag title defense with special referee at AEW Double or Nothing. The AEW World Tag Team Championship match is set for Double or Nothing. Reigning champions FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler agreed to face Double J, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal as the match was put in place on the May 10, 2023 episode of Dynamite, with one major catch in the upcoming pay-per-view match. Mark Briscoe will serve as a special guest referee. This comes after Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett spent the past few weeks in Briscoe's orbit, including a segment last week where they visited the Briscoe's family's chicken farm alongside Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh. The segment Wednesday night's Dynamite also featured the reigning champions FTR asking that Jarrett and Lethal keep their distance from Briscoe. FTR's connection to Briscoe and his late brother Jay goes back to their trilogy of matches for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships in honor of Jay, FTR's AEW World Tag Team title belts bear his name on the nameplates. The match against FTR at AEW Double or Nothing will not be Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal's first time challenging for the AEW World Tag Team Championships as they participated in the Fatal 4-Way match for the titles at Revolution against the Guns, who were tag champs at the time, as well as the Acclaimed and the Team Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. Prior to Revolution, Jarrett and Lethal challenged the Acclaimed for the AEW World Tag Team titles on two occasions. In their first attempt on the January 4, 2023 episode of Dynamite, it seemed that they had won due to interference from Sanjay Dutt. However, the match's decision was reversed after Sanjay Dutt's interference was brought to the attention of the referee as a rematch took place at the 5th Battle of the Belts special, where the Acclaimed came out on top. So that is everything that you need to know. And yet, Don Callis turning on Kenny Omega and the Elite, guys. I can't wait to see what's going to happen going forward. And hopefully AEW does get a streaming service deal. I can't wait to find that out next week. I've been wanting to relive AEW's old shows. I hope that'll be the case. We'll just have to play it by ear and see what happens. Hopefully it's not just something for pay-per-view and it's for the whole library. That's what it's got to be. But yeah, as far as AEW Dynamite this week, guys, fantastic show. Can't wait to see what's going to happen with Kenny Omega and the rest of the Elite when they finally confront Don Callis. What's Don Callis going to have to say as to why he turned on somebody that was like a son to him that he's known all his life in Kenny Omega? Can't wait to see what's going to happen here. So, as far as tonight, AEW Dynamite, I'm going to give the show a straight up 10 out of 10 plus right here tonight. And the 2 thumbs up and the big T seal of approval. Great show. And there you go, everybody. I'm getting out of here. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in with Hunter and Darth and Jordan. What's up, Jordan? I'm hoping they're getting a streaming service, Jordan. I hope if they get it, I'm getting it on launch day. I've been waiting for it since they became a company. Their network will be the best one, even over WWE. Trust me. So I hope they do. Yeah, Kenny Omega, the storyline with Kenny Omega, Jordan, amazing stuff. Kenny Omega, they really have an opportunity. They really have an opportunity now with Kenny Omega to make something special happen here. And yes, Jordan, Mama T does rock. She's the best. She is. So.
Thank you, Jordan.
We all know Mama T's the best. We love Mama T.
That's cool. That's cool.
How can we not love Mama T?
That's nice.
Trust me, guys, like I said, I was saying this earlier, if AEW gets their own streaming service, I mean, yeah, I'd be happy with it that it's just theirs, but I hope they go over to HBO Max. But then again, I'll be using that for only AEW. I'm telling you, the ones that would get more use out of HBO Max, I already know would be Mama T. She'd be going through the whole movie library. I know that already. Because they have HBO's whole movie library. Every movie that was released on HBO, I think they have it, along with all the new stuff that goes into theaters. So she would probably watch it more just for that, but I would watch it just for the wrestling. But it would be a fun thing if they went on there. So I hope they do it off of HBO Max and that they're not going to say, oh, we're just going to do the AEW network. I hope they do it off of there.
Mama T is the best.
Jordan, yes, she is. She is.
Thank you, Jordan. How about them to visit within a week or two?
We need you to.
Yeah.
We all miss you here. I know I miss you.
I'm around.
Yeah, tell Mama T. Let her know.
Mama T.
Let her know how special she is. Thank you.
Get out there and say thank you. tell everybody thank you. Yes, I will. Okay.
Oh, great stuff, guys. I had fun today. I did. I hope you guys did too. But yeah, again, AEW Dynamite tonight was indeed a fantastic show. 10 out of 10 plus right there. And the 2 thumbs up in the Big T seal of approval. Great stuff. So, yeah, that looks like that's going to do it for me right here on this episode of Beyond the Ring with Big T right here tonight. So, I will see all you guys next time. And yes, there will be a next time for me right here on Beyond the Ring with Big T. That'll be for your WWE Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage review and results shows. That'll be on Saturday night. On Friday night, there's just going to be SmackDown. Rampage is getting moved again because of fucking hockey and basketball playoffs. They're getting moved to Saturday night at 10. So, actually doing the shows on Saturday this week will actually work because Rampage isn't on until Saturday anyway. So, doesn't matter. I can't wait till the fucking playoffs for hockey and basketball are over with within the next month because they're always fucking over Rampage. So, yeah, well, I'll see ya. I know, it is nuts. So I'll see you guys on Saturday for SmackDown and Rampage. That's when we'll get down with that. Live on YouTube, live and Facebook Live, and I'll see you there for that. And don't forget us and we won't forget you. And of course, if you want the best, and yes, I do mean the absolute best, for all of your professional wrestling needs right here on the internet, right here on YouTube.com today, always remember to think Beyond the Ring with Big T. And then, of course, everybody, don't forget as well to make sure that, you leave your likes, leave your comments, hit that subscribe button, everything you need to do to keep everything, going onward and upward here on this channel. Because love you and appreciate all you guys. You know that. We always have a great time here. We have a lot of fun, especially with Mama T.
Thank you.
When Mama T's are on, it's more fun.
Yeah.
It's way more fun. We need more Mama T.
It's all dead. It's like, what the fuck? It's dead. It looks like it's dead. Talking to no man's land.
We need more Mama T.
Mama T.
You're not only the world's greatest mom, but you're the world's most beautiful mom.
Thank you. That's funny.
Oh, man. Mama T always makes things good. Big news on AEW just came out here. Listen to this, guys. AEW Dynamite is to debut at Boston's TD Garden on July 19th. During the latest AEW Control Center, Tony Schiavone has confirmed that AEW will be heading back to Boston, Massachusetts on Wednesday, July 19th for AEW Dynamite and the taping of AEW Rampage. However, this will not be taking place at the usual arena they do it at. What is it, the Haggis Arena in Boston, Massachusetts? No. AEW is going to be making its debut at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, guys. That is fucking huge. Now, previously, when AEW has been in Boston, shows have emanated right here from the Haggis Arena, which can hold up to 7,200 fans. But this time AEW will be hosted by the home of the Boston Celtics and the Boston Bruins in a much larger venue with a capacity of 19,580 fans, though it is unknown at this time if the entire venue will be opened up for this show, continuing AEW's recent trend of running bigger arenas. TD Gardens has also served as the main home arena for WWE events, when WWE runs in Boston, with the 2022 Survivor Series War Games Premium Live event having taken place there. The AEW shows in Boston will be coming off the AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door event in June, and will presumably be part of the build towards All In, which is set to be AEW's highest attendance in Wembley Stadium with over 60,000 tickets already sold. However, AEW will likely also be building up to the All Out pay-per-view, which takes place just 1 week after All In, making each episode of television in that run important from a creative standpoint in terms of creating engaging storylines that will provide 2 entertaining pay-per-view cards. For anybody going that's in the Boston area, tickets will be available to purchase this Friday, May 12, 2023 at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is local Boston time. So AEW is moving into bigger arenas. And I see another interesting thing here. Even though it's not AEW, it's big news. Roman Reigns is being advertised for July 7th WWE SmackDown show at Madison Square Garden. WWE is making another trip to Madison Square Garden this July, and it appears the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, will be gracing the New York City audience with his presence. The historic venue is advertising Roman Reigns for the July 7, 2023 episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown, alongside WWE stars such as AJ Styles, Bianca Belair, Rey Mysterio, and more. Roman Reigns has not appeared live on WWE programming since the Raw after WrestleMania 39. Nonetheless, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion was drafted to SmackDown last month alongside fellow Bloodline members Solo Sikoa and the Usos. The July 7, 2023 episode of SmackDown will take place less than a week after this year's Money in the Bank pay-per-view in the United Kingdom and England, which Roman Reigns is also scheduled for. It is currently unknown if Roman Reigns will wrestle at this SmackDown event, or if he is just simply making an appearance, but we'll find out as we get closer to the show. So I figured, that'd be something that you guys would be interested in here. Now, there was something. Let's see. There was something about. I thought there was a story on the, 60,000 tickets that were sold for All In, because I did, here we go. Chris Jericho. It came from Chris Jericho too, so it's good stuff. Chris Jericho says 60,000 tickets have been sold for AEW All In at Wembley Stadium. At a capacity of 90,000 people, Wembley Stadium stands as the largest sports venue in the United Kingdom, and in just over 72 hours, AEW has filled 2/3 of it. On Sunday, August 27, 2023, AEW will head across the pond to present AEW All In from London, England, as pre-sales for the event started Tuesday morning, eventually wrapping up Thursday evening, with more than 50,000 tickets sold through Ticketmaster. AEW President Tony Khan then revealed that even more seats would become available for the general sale, which began Friday. Hours into the public sale, former AEW World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho shared an exciting update regarding the tally of tickets purchased. Jericho says, and I quote, "They said we couldn't do it, and yet here we are at 60,000 tickets sold by the first day of general sales. AEW has created a monster, and I plan to lead the charge. See you in August, Wembley Stadium." That's what Chris Jericho wrote on Instagram. As Tony Khan indicated, Wembley Stadium has indeed opened up more seats today. WrestleTix shared a photo of the revised chart for All In, that some upper decks that were initially closed off have now been partially open for seating, as spectators can now also find a ticket on the 200th level behind AEW's hard camera, as Wembley Stadium expanded its availability to include a portion of that section. As well, as of Thursday evening, the pre-sale had produced a gate revenue of £5.2 million, equivalent to $6.5 million US dollars. The numbers for the general sale so far have not been revealed as of this writing, but at this rate it appears AEW might be closing in on a near sellout. So that's good news. That's really good news for AEW. I like it. I like it. Yeah, how can you not? I think we all gotta like it. Chris Jericho compares AEW All In to the Super Bowl. All Elite Wrestling continues to break records as the ticket sales for All In and Wembley Stadium continue to improve at a relatively constant clip. Former AEW World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho spoke with AEW about how big the August 27, 2023 Supercard will be. Jericho says, and I quote, "I think All In is aptly named because I think everybody in AEW, everybody in the world that is associated with AEW wants to be in Wembley," Jericho says. "Who's going to be there? What are the big matches we're going to have? All I know is this. It is almost like the Super Bowl. You're going to want to go even if you don't know who's wrestling, because you know you're going to get a huge card with huge matches in a huge stadium. It is the perfect time for AEW to come to the UK, when we are the most popular wrestling company in the country." Yesterday, AEW confirmed that 60,000 tickets have already been sold for All In, making it the largest non-WWE show with paid attendance in the modern era, as AEW has made over $6 million on the pre-sale and still has yet to announce the general sale numbers, meaning the event is likely to be near a sellout without a single match announced. There's still no word on how All In will be broadcast. Jericho, using the Super Bowl comparison, would put All In on the level of a WrestleMania or Wrestle Kingdom, a large-scale event where the brand is as important as the matches, hence the term WrestleMania moment. Maybe All In will be AEW's WrestleMania, once this is all over with. You never know. I mean, you really don't know. It's very possible. Very possible. Let's see. As far as AEW Double or Nothing, so there was more news that came out. Cool, at least I was able to give you guys something else when you came in here rather than getting out on you. AEW Double or Nothing 2023 sales are at 69% capacity, selling just over 200 tickets in the last month. For the past week, all the rage about AEW has been less about the on-screen product and more about the ticket sales, as its upcoming All In event has continued to fill up seats in Wembley Stadium for this upcoming August. Unfortunately, not everything has the demand of a Wembley show, and that includes AEW Double or Nothing, which takes place later this month. According to WrestleTix, Double or Nothing has currently filled a respectable 6,807 seats out of the 9,872 seats for which the show is set up for at Las Vegas's T-Mobile Arena, or 69% of available tickets. Ticket movement has been slow, with only 222 tickets being distributed since the last update on April 5th. In addition to the slow sales, Double or Nothing has also set up a smaller capacity, with only 9,782 tickets, made available so far, down from last year's Double or Nothing, which sat over 13,000 fans. But that's, CM Punk was in the main event with Hangman Adam Page, so that was a big match, and everybody knew CM Punk was going to be winning the championship. So it should be noted that at this time only one match has been made official for Double or Nothing, with MJF set to defend the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against Darby Allin, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and Sammy Guevara, the Spanish God Sammy Guevara, in a fatal four-way match. An AEW World Tag Team title match between the champions FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, and challengers Jay Lethal and Double J Jeff Jarrett is expected to be made official this week on AEW Dynamite, while other matches will be announced in the coming weeks. Even if sales for Double or Nothing pale in comparison to last year, AEW can at least look forward to their huge house in Wembley Stadium this August, or even AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door this June, which at last update had almost sold out Toronto's Scotiabank Arena. So, figured that was going to be a sellout. And as far as this week's AEW, WWE, AEW reportedly stacking this week's shows to stop losses from the NHL and NBA playoffs. Both WWE and AEW have loaded up the cards on their flagship television shows this week. WWE is holding the brunt of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament on Raw and SmackDown, while AEW has the most loaded Dynamite in at least, several weeks. On Wednesday, AEW has Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega doing battle inside of a solid steel cage. Plus, Orange Cassidy defends the AEW International Championship against Daniel Garcia. Anna Jay versus Julia Hart in a no-holds-barred match in the House of Black versus Bandito and the Best Friends for the AEW World Trios Championships. And Rey Fenix versus Claudia Castagnoli round out the card. According to the Wrestling Observer, this week's shows are being dressed up to mitigate viewers switching over to the NBA or NHL playoffs, particularly with the Los Angeles Lakers versus Golden State Warriors series setting viewership records. Game 1 of the Lakers-Warriors series averaged 7.4 million viewers, making it the most watched conference semifinals Game 1 on cable. It was also the most watched conference semifinal game on TNT, period, since 2012. In last week's Nielsen ratings, Raw was down despite being the second half of the 2023 WWE Draft, which had given SmackDown's viewership a big boost 72 hours earlier. On the AEW side, AEW Dynamite, despite holding steady in the key 18 to 49 demographic, adults aged 18 to 49 with the same rating it has been doing throughout the NBA NHL playoff season, saw a 10% drop in the total audience from the week prior, as well as the median of the prior 4 weeks. So, that's a little something there. And there's, let's see, a few more things. These are a little bit interesting. I wonder if Thunder Rosa was saying this just to kind of throw everybody off, because injured AEW star Thunder Rosa a couple days ago provided that, a health date that she might need surgery. When Thunder Rosa was unable to defend the AEW Women's World Championship last August due to a back injury, many assumed that Thunder Rosa would be returning to the ring imminently, since Toni Storm was crowned the interim champion after winning a grueling Fatal 4-Way match at All Out. However, Thunder Rosa would ultimately relinquish the title after Full Gear and has been on a rocky road to recovery ever since. And with the latest update on her condition, it seems that her journey is not over yet. In an interview with Ad-Free Shows, Thunder Rosa revealed that despite doing everything she could to avoid it, her severe injury may now require surgery. Thunder Rosa says, and I quote, "It's been really dark," she says. Thunder Rosa says, "Especially when you think you're making steps to coming back to the ring and the pain does not leave your body. I've done pretty much everything to avoid certain things that you do not want to do, like surgery. But there are talks of having to have surgery. Some weeks it has been very, very dark, and I feel like I'm never going to wrestle again. And some other weeks things are going really well, but when I get in the ring, that's when it's not well. And you have to be realistic. Luckily, Thunder Rosa has been able to participate in wrestling in new ways during her time away from the ring, working as a producer and a Spanish-language commentator in addition to being a critic. As a co-host of Busted Open Radio, she has learned so much in a backstage role at AEW. With that said, Thunder Rosa told Ad-Free Shows that she doesn't feel the same rush that you feel when you're in the ring, in her new positions. Darby Allin says he plans to climb Mount Everest in 2024. Darby Allin might be concentrating on becoming the next AEW World Heavyweight Champion right now, but he has already got his eyes set on another huge challenge for 2024. Darby Allin says, and I quote, "The thing I'm going to be doing next year that no wrestler's done before is climb Mount Everest," Darby Allin said to TMZ. "You heard it here first." It should come as no surprise that Darby Allin has his sights set on such a lofty goal. Darby Allin is known for a daredevil style inside the ring that has seen him put his body on the line match after match. Those tendencies characterize his life outside the ring as well, whether it is skateboarding, jumping over his house while driving a Jeep, or now taken on the world's tallest peak or mountain. During a recent Dynamite appearance, AEW's commentary team pointed out that Darby Allin had been struck by a vehicle just days before, but was still intent on getting in the ring and performing. Darby Allin says, and I quote, "That's been my whole MO since AEW started," Darby says. "That's why it is so important for me to meet up with guys like Travis Pastrana and make stuff happen. Do stuff that no wrestler's ever done before." Darby Allin is currently preparing for the biggest match of his career thus far, challenging for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in the main event of AEW's upcoming Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Darby, alongside with the Spanish God Sammy Guevara and Jungle Boy Jack Perry and MJF, will take part in a Fatal 4-Way match with the coveted AEW World Heavyweight title on the line, currently held by Maxwell Jacob Friedman, which the title will be on the line in that one. So pretty interesting stuff there. And, guys, let me see. Chris Jericho calls out Mandalay Bay. Chris Jericho calls out Mandalay Bay Resort security for allegedly assaulting him. It seems that Chris Jericho recently had a less than stellar experience at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Chris Jericho he took to Twitter this morning, sharing a few details on what seems to be a confrontation with hotel security over his luggage. Jericho tweeted, and I quote, Hey Mandalay Bay, it is unacceptable that you tried to bully me and assault me when all I wanted was my bags that I left at the concierge. Jericho continued to write on. Your security staff ignored me for 30 minutes, and when I made some noise physically and you physically and mentally assaulted me and laughed in my face. I want restitution now. Jericho's words were accompanied by a photo of a ticket that would typically be used to recover luggage from the concierge, and Chris Jericho has pinned the tweet to the top of his Twitter profile. Mandalay Bay has yet to respond publicly, and it is unclear if the resort has reached out to Chris Jericho in private in an attempt to resolve the matter. This is not the first time that Chris Jericho has used his substantial social media platform to call out a business. Chris Jericho has publicly brought up issues with specific hotel employees from earlier this year, as well as dating back to 2019, and even recently attempted to gain the attention of the entire TikTok platform to help resolve an issue with his account. Chris Jericho is currently embroiled in a feud with Adam Cole on AEW television, seemingly leading to a match at the upcoming Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Looking ahead, Chris Jericho may be entering a storyline with CM Punk following his heavily rumored return to AEW next month when Collision debuts. It's pretty crazy, huh? So Chris Jericho, he's got, I guess he's got some unresolved issues with Mandalay Bay. I don't know, if this is going to be made public anymore or what, but, yeah, I'm shocked that he's having issues with Mandalay Bay. But he is. We'll see what happens. Just two more little pieces here. Director's cut of AEW's The Firm deletion made available to watch on YouTube. This past Friday's AEW Rampage featured The Firm deletion, the latest cinematic match taking place at the Hardy compound, seemingly marking the end of the storyline between the Hardy Boys and Private Party against The Firm. While sections of the match were cut for time on the Rampage broadcast, the extended director's cut of The Firm deletion is now available on YouTube, a successor to Hardy's previous cinematic matches in Impact Wrestling and WWE. The Firm deletion was the first Hardy compound match in AEW. However, The Firm deletion is not AEW's first cinematic match, with past examples including Stadium Stampede at Double or Nothing 2020 and an on-location Street Fight at Revolution 2021 featuring Sting and Darby Allin vs. Team Taz. As of now, it is unclear what long-term ramifications The Firm deletion will have on AEW, and the match has left the audience with more questions than answers. Will the Hardy Boys return to their normal personas for a tag team run? Or are Broken Matt and Jeff Hardy here to stay? Is The Firm truly deleted, or will Stokely Hathaway lead the group to seek revenge on Tony Khan for putting them in the match? Only time will tell. Fan reaction to The Firm deletion on social media has been mostly positive, but there is no denying Hardy's cinematic matches are divisive and not for everyone. It remains to be seen if AEW co-owner or if AEW owner Tony Khan elects to bring the match type back again, or if The Firm deletion remains the only Hardy compound match in AEW. So we'll see. And Matt Hardy also had something to say that I found rather interesting right here. Matt Hardy thinks that AEW All In at Wembley Stadium might be a blueprint for United States stadium shows. So AEW might want to bring stadium shows to the United States, I hope. AEW's first venture into stadium shows is proving to be a resounding success, with over 60,000 tickets sold already for All In at Wembley Stadium. But Matt Hardy believes that this could just be the start of things to come. Matt Hardy says, and I quote, "I could see this being a blueprint for a major United States stadium show. I really could." Matt Hardy said on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast, AEW All In will be AEW's most attended show, and Matt Hardy believes that that is because people are willing to travel from all across Europe to be part of the festivities. Even though some criticize AEW for not growing their ratings more, Hardy remains confident in the numbers that he is seeing attend shows. "The demand is tangible. The demand for AEW is still growing," Matt Hardy explained. "Even the last few events and houses that we have had, when it comes to live events and TVs, the attendances in the venues have been really, really strong, so it has been doing well. I think people are still learning about the brand AEW. Since AEW's launch, fans have compared AEW with the WWE, which Matt Hardy admitted is hard for them not to do. However, this show is going to bring in a WrestleMania-style crowd, and that is something that AEW could then piggyback on in America. As All In is proving, there is a demand. WWE is just so much further ahead. Their brand is so ingrained in global wrestling lore," Hardy said. "AEW is doing a great job, and I think this is a very strong statement just about the power of AEW and the AEW brand, and how much, or how there's such a demand for it," end quote. This was from the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast, and Wrestling Inc. did the transcription on it. Oh boy. Alright, we got it, folks. We got it. We got it. That's all the news. That is all the news. And Lisa said, I see here in the chat, always a pleasure. Hashtag justice for pretty. With the smiley face with the halo emoji, the kitty cat, the paws, the doves. Thank you, Lisa. Always great having you in here. And hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope everybody else enjoyed the show here. But yeah, at least I was able to give you a little bit of news at the end here, just to kind of have a little extension to the show. And you know, we talked about everything that we needed to, so got you guys all caught up on everything that you need. Everything that you need is done. So, yeah, next time I'll see you guys. And there will be a next time that'll be for WWE Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage review results shows live on Saturday night. Right back here on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, so join me for that. Don't forget us, we won't forget you, and of course, if you want the best, and yes, I mean the absolute best for all of your professional wrestling needs, right here on the internet, right here on YouTube.com today. Always remember to think beyond the ring with Big T. Then, of course, everybody, you know, as always, AEW Dynamite tonight for Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. Of course, got that 10 out of 10 plus, the 2 thumbs up, the Big T seal of approval. Great show tonight, and you know, as always, thank you very much, everybody, for watching and listening to the AEW Dynamite review and results show for today, Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. As we surely had a great show to talk about with a fantastic cage match. This cage match was everything you want out of a cage match. You know, this absolutely very much well-performed what Edge and Finn Balor did in Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. So you're supposed to have blood like this. You're supposed to have violence like this. That's what anything with the steel cage is supposed to resemble. A car wreck like this. A fucking car wreck. Where these guys are just completely beating the shit out of each other. that's what we got tonight. So it's another reason why the show got a 10 out of 10 plus, and the 2 thumbs up and the big T seal of approval. And of course, everybody, thank you AEW and Tony Khan for a great AEW Dynamite show tonight. And we'll see what we got on Saturday night when we review both SmackDown and Rampage and talk about everything. So I hope you guys will be here for that. And yeah, so there you go. As always, everybody, always remember and never ever forget that I'm your host, Big T, and then I will see all of you at the matches, and I'll see all of you for your WWE Friday Night SmackDown and your AEW Rampage review and result shows on Saturday night, right back here on YouTube Live and Facebook Live after AEW Rampage. So, take care, everybody. I love you all. Thank you, AEW and Tony Khan, for a great AEW Dynamite show tonight. Take care, everybody. I love you all, and of course, good night, everybody.
Good night.
This is M-Dog 20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you were checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T. Thank you, man. Big T.
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joey Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring AEW.